Well, welcome back, watch people. Now, you might remember that just a couple of weeks back I spoke to Tony, a viewer of my channel, who had been the unfortunate victim of a sleight of hand theft of his Rolex watch, or the money for his Rolex watch at least, at his home in Kent. Now, I've got Tony on the line again this evening, who's got some more news for us relating to that particular incident. Tony, good evening, and thanks for coming on the show again.
Okay, Paul, yes, great to be back on the show.
Tell us what you know, Tony, because I think since your unfortunate event, there's been some movement. First of all, have you had any news from the police at all yet?
No, I've not had any news from the police, not from the local police anyway, but there is some action coming in from London at the moment, so I can't really tell you any more about that at the present time, but it seems that there could be something moving along in that direction.
And the reason we've got you on tonight, Tony, again, is to give a further warning to viewers out there. Tell us what you know, mate.
Well, I mean, the particular scam that's been taking place, that happened with me, has now taken place in other parts of England, you know, as far as I know, you know, up in sort of Birmingham, Manchester, Liverpool area, and also down on the down towards Dorset and in other coastal areas. In fact, anywhere in the country. So these people are not actually, you know, sticking to one area. They are moving about, but it is the same people. We've now got some CCTV footage. We've got some images that have come to light. We've even got a vehicle registration number, but obviously I can't give that out at the moment. But, you know, there is a lot of information coming in. And I'm really sort of pleased this is coming in, because obviously some of the comments that were on the previous video were quite negative and made people out to be a bit naive. But in reality, I think now everybody's pulling together, especially the victims, and we are gaining quite a bit more information. Absolutely, and you know, I'm glad that's happening, Tony. I think I'll put a link to our previous video in this video description, so if you haven't seen the first video that I did with Tony, I'd suggest that you go back and have a listen to that. But for those of you that haven't seen it, just give us a little bit of background on their MO, their means of operandi, as they say. How are they actually doing this scam? Well, I mean, it seems that from what I've heard from the other victims, it's the same scam, except for one, actually. At one, it turned into something a little bit more nastier, but the normal format is these two gentlemen all arrive at the location that's, you know, been sort of pre-booked, you know, and they'll examine the watch. One gentleman basically seems to do nothing, and the other one seems to be the expert, if you like. He checks the watch, makes sure it's, you know, genuine, or that's the opinion he gives. So he appears to be like the man who knows all about the watches. And then what happens then, when the money is going to be paid, he'll take his little holdall, and inside will be an envelope, a window envelope, okay, and inside that will be the amount of money that's been agreed that they're going to pay for the watch. And the money's put out, and then the person who's actually selling the watch obviously checks the money, and then he then puts it all back in the envelope, seals the envelope, and then switches the envelope, and then the envelope that the seller receives basically contains a £20 note which can be seen through, or even a £50 note can be seen through the window, but inside the envelope then is just cut up lottery cards and betting slips and stuff like that. So basically you end up with all paper except for one genuine banknote. So just to confirm, Tony, how many cases do we actually know of now, including yourself? Well, we know now of 4, but but it's, you know, there are more. There are definitely more than 4. There's a lot of information floating around. I would say, from what I understand, there's one robbery a day or one commitment of fraud a day using this method. So you've only got to work that out. You know, it's coming up, I think, for nearly 3 weeks since I had a visit. So in that time, you know, they've obviously gone round and taken a few watches. And, of course, they're taking complete sets. You know, they're not just getting the watch. They're getting the watch, the box, the guarantee card. Yeah. So, you know, they're getting something that is, you know, quite sellable in some location. Obviously not probably in England, but they may be storing them up and then they're going to take them abroad and sell them. That's what I think will happen.
So what we've got is then we've got a team that are travelling around the UK, carrying out the same scam with the same MO. They're obviously getting away with it. Tony, what advice would you have now for viewers? You know, you've had time to think about this. You've had time to settle down. Have you got any further advice further on from your first video?
I think that the thing is, you know, you've got to, obviously, I mean, if a couple of gentlemen turn up to buy a watch and they start removing an envelope from a holdall and there's money inside, then obviously at that point, you know, the alarm bells have got to ring. But I think I'll be quite honest with you now, you know, selling anything on sort of Facebook Marketplace is a very, very dodgy place. And I think really now it's come to the point that if people want to sell watches, then you really need to start looking at the possibility of dealing with a proper secondary watch market dealer. I mean, there are many of them across the country and some very respected people, and I think that's probably the way to go now. Okay, you're not going to perhaps make as much money for your watch, but if you're going to get robbed, well, you know, you're going to lose the watch. So my advice would be, you know, go down the road of dealing with somebody that's respectable. You're going to go to a secure location, and you're going to get your money, you know, direct into your bank account with no problems at all. Now,
on that note, they say that every cloud has a silver lining, and I know because I've spoken to him about you just today. You've met Spencer Dreyer from BQ Watches, one of the sponsors of my channel. I believe you met him through the channel. Tell us a little bit about that, because I love bringing the watch community together.
Yeah, well, it was funny. I did have another, because of this, obviously, I decided to liquidate some of my watch collection. And I thought, you know, I'm not going to try and sell it privately. I'm going to go and see a watch dealer. And I contacted Spencer. And I went over to see him. We booked an appointment. I drove there. It was about an hour and a half from where I live. He even asked me, you know, would I like something to eat? I said, well, yeah, I'll have a sandwich. I got there. He greeted me. I was in a nice, secure location. Cup of tea was served along with a nice sandwich. And I thought, well, you know, what a way to go and, you know, sell a watch and get treatment like that. I mean, you wouldn't even get that in a Rolex AD, let alone, you know, a secondary watch dealer. And the whole process was so simple. The watches were checked, everything was checked. And a lady came in and said, oh, the money's just been transferred to your bank. Do you want to check? I go on my phone and the money was there. And what a pleasant experience. No worry at all about, are you going to get robbed or, you know, attacked or anything. It was just a great experience, and I advise anybody to do the same thing. If they're thinking of selling a watch, you know, do the right thing. Go and talk to or ring up a watch dealer, and a respected watch dealer, one that's been mentioned, you know, on YouTube or, you know, or if you know one. But I think that's the way to go. Yeah.
Well, as I said, you know, the only positive that I can take out of it is that, you know, you've met a good watch dealer and a good watch dealer's met yourself. I'll tell you why, mate. I know why you got your sandwich and your cup of tea. It's more than I get when I go over there. It's because you was doing business.
It's great. I mean, you know, and anybody who doesn't know Spencer, I mean, his location now is fantastic. It's easy to park, and the building is secure. I mean, it's you know, it's just so nice. It's, you know, beautifully, you know, equipped, air conditioning, and, you know, you just feel so relaxed when you're in there, you know, and you can actually see all what's happening while you're there as well, you know, there's a watch repairer or watch service guy there, and there's some ladies, you know, working away at computers, and it's just a nice, quiet, you know, peaceful environment, really. And I'm just, you know, I mean, okay, you can meet somebody in a Costa coffee shop, and you're on edge all the time, you know, and I don't think that's the way to go about selling a high-end watch. I mean, if you're selling a Timex, you know, for sort of £2 or £3, that's fair enough. But, you know, when you're selling a Rolex or any other high-end watch for, you know, maybe a few £1,000s, you've got to be in an environment where you feel safe. And I think, you know, the only way to do it is to deal with a, you know, a respected watch dealer.
I agree, Tony, 100%, and I'm glad that part of it at least has worked out well for you. Just before we go, it's very important, because the main purpose of this video, as far as I'm concerned at least, is to try and avoid anyone else becoming a victim of this scam. Just give us a description of the guys that were responsible for your robbery, and also for the others that we know about. A total of 4 at the moment, with quite a large number it seems, also on the verge of being confirmed. Just give us a brief description. So the envelope seems vital, doesn't it? Certainly the envelope is certainly a big part of this scam. So watch out for someone trying to present you with an envelope, and just a brief description of the gentleman involved, please. Yeah,
okay, yes. Well, say the envelope is definitely a red flag, and it's going to be, you know, they're using an envelope with a window in, so it's the type that obviously, you know, you can see the address through on the paper normally, but that's the type of envelope they're using. So they'll get the money out, and then it's all counted and checked, and then the guy very casually puts it all back in the envelope, and he seals the envelope, the switch is done, and then you're just going to end up with an envelope with one banknote showing, and the rest will be bits of cut up paper. So that's actually what they're doing. So if anybody comes to buy a watch from you and they try that sort of format, then straight away, red flag.
And these
as regards to the gentlemen, 2 of them, they're obviously they're not English, and I'm not sure what country they do come from. Maybe, you know, one of the European countries. There's a larger gentleman, as I say, he's about sort of 5'4", quite well built, got a bit of a stomach on him. I've got a feeling he's got some sort of beard or some facial hair, dark hair as well. And just to say, the other thing is, obviously, they are wearing COVID masks, although be it not always fully, you know, sort of down a little bit, sometimes just on one ear, but you know, they are wearing masks, and of course, you know, in the situation we're in, that's it. Everybody's wearing masks now, especially in public places. So you don't, you know, you don't think anything of it.
And the other
gentleman is a lot older. I would say he could be in his 60s. Very well dressed. Seems to wear designer type trousers, shoes. Wears a hat. That's the thing now that stands out. He wears a sort of a light coloured hat, and glasses as well. And also, he's sort of the kingpin to it all. You know, he seems to be the one that knows all about the watches.
And we believe that this gentleman is responsible now also for producing a knife during one of the scams. Yeah, well,
so I understand. Yes, one of the robberies that's taken place, apparently a knife was actually used. There was no money switch. It was just literally the money was shown, and then the knife was produced, and the watch was taken, and obviously they made off with the money. Okay. So yeah, it's taken a different direction now. Obviously, it's not straightforward, just switching and fraud. It's sort of, you know, becoming sort of you know, serious robbery incident. So, but how many times that may have happened before, obviously we don't know at the moment. But you know, more information is coming in, and I'm in contact with you know, obviously police now that are acting on this. So hopefully we're going to get some results before long.
Tony, thanks so much for coming on and for helping me warn other watch people out there. If you're watching this video, please make sure that you share this information with anyone that might be selling a watch. It would be a really good idea as well to advise them against advertising their watches on Facebook. It seems to be the most common platform that these guys or these people are using. Be careful out there, watch people. Once again, thanks very much, Tony. Hopefully things work out for you well, and we'll speak again soon.
Thanks very much, Paul.